Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, October the 28th, and this is my last Monday driving to the job that I have been telling you all about that I absolutely hate. I put in my resignation letter about 2 weeks ago, and I feel so relieved, y'all. And so I know a lot of people have that same struggle with being in a position that you really don't like, because we all need income, and some of us feel as though the current position that we have is the best that we can do, or we just want to play it safe and wait until we have this large amount of money saved up, or just wait until something else comes along to quit our jobs. And for some people, I guess that's necessary, but for me, that just wasn't cutting it. So yes, I put in my resignation letter 2 weeks ago. I know your questions are probably, do you have another job lined up? The answer is no, which that is exactly how I left the job that I had before now. I just got to a place in that position where systems that were starting to be put into place, I just couldn't get with it. And I left. And I think I was unemployed for like 6 months after that. But the crazy thing about it, and I tell people this all the time, when I was unemployed for those 6 months, I felt like I was in a better financial situation than I was when I was employed. Like, I was paying stuff off. All of my bills got paid on time. I did not have money saved up. Like, I promise y'all, I did not have any money saved up. But I would get up every day and write out my affirmations. I would write out what I was thankful for. That's when I started Creations by Sherelle, which is my business. So it all worked out. And I definitely believe that sometimes in order to go to the next level, you have to prove your faithfulness, meaning you have to take a leap of faith. Like, we talk about faith and, oh my God, I got faith, but do you really have faith? When it comes to not being able to see your next move, like, can you still function and do what it is you feel like you're being led to do? So that's where I am now. I quit my job. I do not have another job lined up. I do not have saving. Like, I don't have, how people say have 3 months of your expenses saved. I don't have none of that. I'm purely going off of faith. I'm not fearful about it. And I'm telling y'all, I have slept better than I have slept in years since I turned my resignation letter in. And for some people, that may seem a bit dramatic. How can a job make you, baby? Get up and go somewhere where you, oh my God, we'll get into that. I'm gonna do a series. So every day as I'm driving to work, I'm gonna do a video just to kind of talk about how I ended up here, and just my journey to get to where I am now, because I think it's very important that we have these conversations and really change our mindsets in terms of feeling like we have to struggle through a job that we don't want to be at. Heck no. Like, I'm not living my life like that. So let's start with, okay, so yes, let me start with the day I resigned. So I resigned about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and going into work, I had just left my therapist's office, and we were talking again about work and how that was making me feel. And we had kind of developed a plan. Like, I was just going to start networking more, keep applying to jobs, yeah, whatever. And, leaving the office, I was kind of like, okay, like, yeah, that's going to be the plan, which that had been the plan, but, that was our plan. And as I was leaving my office, I got a message from a coworker giving me a heads up about something that was happening in the office that day. And I completely lost it. Like, I called my mama. I started crying. I was like, Mom, I just can't do this. If this is really what's going down in the office, like, I'm going to quit today. And usually my mom is along the lines of, okay, well, let's not act on emotion. Like, do you have a plan in place? That kind of thing. But I guess she just got to the point where she understood just how much stress I had been under working this job, because me and my mom have a good relationship, and we talk like girlfriends. We talk sometimes multiple times a day. You know, if something happened at work, like I would call her like, girl, let me tell you what just happened. Like, these people are crazy. So I guess, you know, hearing me cry, because I really don't cry around my mama much, but hearing me cry kind of let her know, like, okay, like I talked to my boyfriend. He was like, yo, just do it. We gonna be good, kind of thing. And so I went into work that day with the mindset of like, I'm out, because I knew what was happening was really happening. I just didn't know that it was going to happen in the way that it was happening. So just to kind of give you a little backstory on that situation of what was happening, how can I put it? So within our department, we have essentially 3 or 4 separate teams, and what they were doing was integrating 2 of the teams with the idea that it was going to make one of the teams work more, work better, that kind of thing. And our supervisor had called us in the office, some of us in the office, to talk about it. And we all told him, like, it makes absolutely no sense. It was going to, you know, just decrease the morale even more. Like, we're not babysitting people. You know, that's just not our job. And, you know, he listened, and I thought the purpose of him calling us in the office was to really get our feedback and to make an informed decision based on feedback of the team that I'm on. And everybody was like, heck no, like, it's just too much. Like, we're adults, we're professionals. If it's a work performance issue, address those people, you know, do what you got to do, but don't disturb everybody else's workspace and peace of mind because you feel as though, like, you don't want to directly address something that's going on. Okay, so like I said, we had all had that conversation, and then the next thing we know, it's being put into place, and in a way that was just so, I don't want to go into details because I don't know who watching these videos, and I don't want nobody to get offended. I don't want to say something and that's not the full story. It's 2 sides to every story, so I'll leave it at that. But just in that moment, I realized just how powerless I am, or we are, while working with someone else, while working for someone else. And I just wasn't feeling it. Like, I'm not going to work every day to be even more miserable, because now I'm in a different office with, it was just too much. So my coworker was right. When I got to work, I found out that a certain set of people had gotten an email saying that they weren't going to have to move. And then some of us had gotten a separate email about a meeting at, it was like 11 or 11:30, which we all knew was to discuss the fact that we were the people that were going to have to move. I guess because we are the people, they felt as though we're the people that wasn't going to give as much. You know, I'm usually, you know what, I don't agree with this. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do it and move on from it. That's just how I try to carry on, because like I said, at the end of the day, I'm working for somebody else. Got to do what I got to do. But this meeting didn't go too well. There were some things that were said that were untrue, which caused me to speak up. And I just felt at that point that was not, I couldn't do it. So I went back to my desk, and, you know, I thought about it, like, am I doing the right thing, Lord? You know how bad I want to leave this job. Is this the opportunity for me to dip and not feel bad about it? Like, you know, what is this? And I just couldn't let it go. I was very upset. And so I drafted up my resignation letter, took it into my supervisor, and the first thing that he said was, I don't think you're making the right decision. Okay, but my decision is final. And my supervisor is very flexible. I like him as a person. I really do. But just in that moment, that just wasn't what I was looking for. And I turned in my resignation letter, and it's like immediately after that, y'all, I had such a feeling of peace, y'all. Like, it's almost like after I turned in my resignation letter, I stepped outside of myself, and I could just see how miserable everybody else was in being there. And I was just so grateful that I was able to turn in my resignation letter. And by able, I mean, I just had the faith that I know God does not want me to be miserable. Like, y'all, I would literally wake up in the morning some mornings and just start crying. Like, before I say good morning to Dion or anything, like, I would just start crying because I knew I had to go to work. I would get home in the evening times, and some days I would go straight to bed because it's kind of like, well, damn, it's time to do it all over again in 12 hours. My whole life revolved around my work, my job. There was no, leaving work at work. Like, I bought that home every single day just because I was so miserable there, y'all. And so I'm a medical case manager at what I would say is a prestigious university in my area. And the benefits, most would say, are like pretty darn amazing. We have amazing health insurance. We get like 239 PTO hours at the beginning of the year. It's all one bank of money, so you don't have to distinguish between sick time and like regular leave time. You do what you want to do. We get free tuition. We get tuition reimbursement if we go back to school at that university. When I said my supervisor is super flexible, like, you can text him the day up, like, I ain't coming in today, and it's cool. Like, it's no, if I'm gonna be late, which y'all know I'm always late. So that was very, it was a good perk, but then I began to have some feelings towards that because I do want accountability on my job, because that's the only way I can know ways in which I can improve. I mean, getting to work on time, of course, I'm aware that I know I can improve in that area, but just overall, I just needed more structure, more, feedback and goal setting in that sense. Back to the benefit. I remember when I first started having interest in working there, like, people would tell me, oh no girl, it's hard to get on there, like, you'll never get that job, da, 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 da. And that made me want to work there even more. I had to delete some of the stuff on my phone, but like I was saying, when people was talking about how prestigious it was and how hard it was gonna be to get in there, I was like, I got to be in there. Hold on one second, I gotta go order my coffee.
Hello, can I help you?
Hey, good morning. Can I get a medium hazelnut swirl iced coffee with cream and sugar and light ice?
Anything else?
No, that's it.
You said a hazelnut shot?
I was about to ask, the hazelnut swirl. What's the hazelnut shot?
It's an unsweetened hazelnut.
Oh, okay. No, the hazelnut swirl, please.
Yeah. All right, 262. You got to pull around.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, another one of the benefits is that we got $2,000 to $3,000 every year to. Hold on one second.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're 262
Okay,
today.
thank you. Ain't no way they made this damn coffee that quick.
Would you like your receipt?
No, thank you. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too. That's amazing. They never made. I ain't no way they made that coffee that quick. I mean, well, they did, but. Okay, so with this Dunkin' Donuts, I always have to taste my coffee before I leave because they be messing it up. I don't know. And I love Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Like, the crazy thing is, I just started drinking like a year ago. And since I started drinking Dunkin' Donuts, I have not been to Starbucks. And people that know me know I used to love me some Starbucks. But anyway, back to my story. So yeah, we got money every year to go to conferences. Like my first year there, I went to Vegas with my girl Toya. We had a blast. Which I still have videos and stuff on my phone from that, but I just didn't put them up because I just ain't want to cause no issues. But now that I'm gone, I might have to put a little something together. But anyway, so yeah, it was this year I didn't go anywhere. I went to like little conferences in the area, but I was trying to leave, so I really wasn't even focused on finding somewhere to go. Even though it could have been a great getaway, but every month, or like literally, I would be like, all right, this is my last month here, and I would be applying to places and stuff, but it just didn't work out. So I didn't do anything this year worth talking about as far as using that money to go on, to go to a conference. But yes, so I applied for the job that I have now in October of 2016, I think it was. It was either October or December. I had an interview in February and I was hired in April. I had to get off and clear more storage. Okay, Apple, you win. I'll get a new phone. Like, I swear, when new phones come out, they send a ping or something to your old phone to just make you so aggravated that you end up buying a new phone. Great marketing. It works. Like I was saying, in between the time that I applied for the job And before I got the interview, like, I would script every day, you know, thanking God for the job and just claiming it as mine. And I remember when I got the call from my now supervisor to come in from an interview, I was on the highway on the way from a doctor's appointment. The interview, like, I knew when I left the interview that I had got the job. But then, like, 2 months passed before I heard from him, just because the hiring process takes so long. Like, now that I am working there and I see other employees leave and them have to hire a replacement, like, the hiring process is just ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah. And the crazy thing is, as bad as I wanted that job, when I got the call that I had gotten it, like, it did not sit right in my spirit, but I ignored it. And I actually had another interview scheduled to my old supervisor. He has his own, like, practice now, and I had an interview for a position there, and it was going to be in Fredericksburg. And I called and canceled that interview just because I had gotten the job that I have now. And that is something that I have regretted since, like, day 3 at my current job. So yeah. So what the heck? No, that can't be right. I just got a message that said my mama just sent me, like, some crazy money, but that can't be right. I hope it's right, but no, I don't think that's right. I think that's over. But anyway, Lord, I hope that's right. What was I saying? Guys? Oh yeah, so it was like 2 things off the bat that, like, in addition to, like, just not feeling it in my spirit, it was 2 things that kind of made me like, oh. First being the salary. They would not honor my master's degree, but a master's degree was a preferred qualification, so I just never understood how you ask for something and then when the person has it, you don't honor it in terms of salary, but whatever. And the second was when they told me I had to get a flu shot. I had never gotten a flu shot. I have my own, you know, views on stuff like that, and it made me very uncomfortable, which I understand. I work, like, in a hospital setting, so I get it, but it made me very uncomfortable to have to do it. When I got to work, one of the first things that stood out to me was that we can have nails. I literally have a journal entry about that because it just tore me up so bad. Those of you that know me know, like, since I've been, like, 16, I have always had my nails looking real nice. Like, we can't have artificial nails, we can't have color, we can't have acrylic, nothing. No clear polish, like, we can't have anything on our nails. And when they told me that, I had just gotten a fresh feeling I'll never forget. Like, I was like, oh, heck no, like, this ain't gonna work for real. But of course, you know, I got over that. So it's just like, okay, y'all, first of all, I'm downtown right now, and the roads are kind of bumpy, so if my phone falls, I apologize. Just stick with me. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. The reason behind me saying all of that was just, it was small things from the jump that let me know that this just might not be what you asked. This, you might be getting into something that you really, really, you know. But you know, I stuck it out, and there, you know, there are a lot of lessons that I learned while working there. There were some good times I had while working there. I met some amazing people. I had to clear out more storage, y'all. So yes, I'm gonna get a new phone because I need more storage. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up and say I appreciate you all for rocking with me. I'm gonna do a video every day this week just to talk about my journey while working, where I currently work, what's next, the things that I've learned, that kind of thing. So just stay tuned. So I will see you all in the next video. Have a wonderful Monday. Oh, and when I realized I've stopped and parked my car, but I thought about something else that kind of was like, maybe this ain't for you. I had to share office with 1, 2, 3, 4 other people. Whew, it hasn't been bad, but I am just very aware of my tolerance as far as interactions. Like, I'm somebody, I thrive off of human interaction, but after a while I just need to be to myself. Like, I need to be able to have the heat on in the summertime because I'm cold natured.